never said any of that, man.
interprets something, then creates a
I think
more
you're confused, Arab. An insult. So don't take it as an insult because I didn't intend it as an insult.
okay.
When I say you're confused, I believe you've read different things and you've used your own experience, you've used your own subjectivity to collect from different things, and that came up with your own kind of
Yeah,
understanding. That's the whole
yeah.
point. Yeah. So
And I would tell
that's why I say,
and I would tell the viewers, I would tell them,
sorry.
please go use your personal experience and use that to listen to God in a way that He's going to talk to you in ways that are not the same that He's going to talk to your friends. He's going to talk to you specifically
How do you know
because
that? When there is another guru who had another self-reflecting experience and he has another idea on understanding, why should I take what Arab says over what that guy says?
I'll tell you why. What's
Oh,
the most important thing that keeps you alive?
I mean, there's many things keep you alive.
No, there's one thing that you'll
Be
die
more
without.
specific.
No, there's one thing that if you don't have
You
it,
want
you
to
die.
say water, or you mean breath, or
Your breath.
which one is it?
Your
Okay,
breath.
water, breath, all of them are
Pour
essential. Yeah,
water
okay,
and
that system, but yeah,
great. And that breath is where?
in your chest,
Yes, and that breath is
lungs.
defined in the scriptures, in your scriptures and my scriptures. And the perception of what you're actually looking for is truth, and you read them, you'll see them. I don't need to show you. I can't teach you, bro. I'm not here to teach
haven't
you
told-
to even think about. So maybe you need to stop thinking. Maybe the
One of the
issue
things.
is that you think you're correct because you're thinking, but in the sense of you thinking, you're automatically 0.001 seconds behind.
You sound like Jordan Peterson now. Arab, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're honestly starting to sound like Jordan Peterson at this point.
Is right now, correct? Present.
Okay.
You have a
Yes,
moment in time that's
yeah.
right now. You have a moment
Uh-huh.
in time that's the past, and you have a moment in time that's the future.
Okay,
Not talking to be in the present.
sure.
'Cause it
No
might
worries.
be. Because
Uh-huh.
God talks to you through other people, not a messenger that stopped 1600 years ago. And that's my belief that I'm putting out into the world. Learn to organize your thoughts, because once you do, you can then think and create forward. And they're not actually thoughts, they're messages.
How do you organize your thoughts, Arab? Tell me again. How do you organize your thoughts?
You have to first
What do you
clear
use
them.
to organize your thoughts? No,
You
no,
have-
don't think.
You have to breathe. You have to focus on your breath.
So you're magnificent beings,
Yeah.
and we cannot function properly unless we hear important thing, right? So now, what I will tell you how you discover the full truth is actually by listening to the sound of your heart, because your heart is the and come up with it and tell you, okay,
Wait,
listen
you
to your heartbeat because you cannot live without your heartbeat. Come on, Arab. Like,
think
let's
you
have an
made up
actual
gibberish?
conversation, man.
Do you think
Sorry.
you just made up gibberish?
I made up gibberish. The part is listen to your heartbeat, and through listening to your heartbeat, you'll come to the absolute truth. Yes, that's gibberish I just made up.
By listening to your heart, you will come to the absolute truth. I don't think
No,
what
I
you
was
said.
talking about that. Look,
You
Arab,
believe
the
that
thing is
one
this.
philosophy, Muslim
You
lantern.
know, the thing is this.
that
When
one
you don't know the
philosophy
truth,
is
Arab,
the
when you
end
don't know the
all
truth,
be all.
Arab, when you don't know the truth, you're swayed by anything. And they force the information and speaking to me right now. That's why when I ask you questions, you give responses. If you're not thinking, you didn't say a word. You just sit silently there in the entire discussion. So you may say you're not thinking, but you are.
And I'm telling you that there's millions of ways of attaining the truth. I'm
Dude,
telling you
what
that
is
it's not just
معاق?
How do you know that? You don't even know the truth, Arab. How do you know there's millions of ways to attain? That is
you
what I was trying to prove. I
Muslim
told you, Arab. I told you
You have no idea how
why
big
would the
the world
viewer?
is, bro. You have
No,
no
no,
idea.
no.
You can't even fathom
Sure.
how many infinite
And you
realities
do.
are occurring at this.
And you.
Just give me a second before
Okay.
we continue.
Sure.
You know what my belief
Uh-huh.
in blind faith is, Muslim Lantern?
Tell me.
It's that I'm going to live completely in the present, and I blindly trust that tomorrow I'm going to be okay, and that in the next hour I'm going to be okay, and in a month from now, God will give me all the money I need to produce all the whatever I need, the works that I need in order to continue going. And so therefore, I can live completely in the present, whether I'm in front of the most dangerous person in the world, or whether I'm in front of a crazy slum, or whether I'm wherever where somebody would perceive a possible danger. I know that that doesn't exist because God's got my back. And because of my perception of it, which is exactly personal experience, if you carry these potential possibilities of negative thought with you into these places, you then reflect that. And so when you don't allow yourself to have these thoughts and you have pure blind faith, which you only get to.
I'll tell you where I agree with you, and I'll tell you how me agreeing with you world is, which is what you keep saying. God is the one who made the entire world, And he doesn't only know the entire world, but he knows every possible reality in existence. And therefore, I agree with you that you to reflect on the universe, to do tadabbur, or to do tafakkur. The Quran tells you to not just follow what your forefathers were upon. The Quran tells you to find evidences. The Quran tells you to critique things. That's
And
what
which time is only the Quran. Is that what I'm
the
understanding?
revelation that is preserved only in intact form in our.
What I'm telling you,
I can't see, so you have to read for me.
yeah, this says 600 BC.
Okay,
What, or sorry, AD. 600 AD. Okay.
sure,
What
sure.
I'm telling you is that because of that belief, you're going back to 600 AD for your beliefs every time you want to have a conversation about it, and you're not going to the present
Go
moment.
to the writing of a man, if I go to the writing of a man, Prophet Muhammad, yes, I will be going back to the past. I'm not doing that, my friend. I'm going back to the revelation of God who created time, and therefore your whole analogy, the future's already happened for God.
How does a
God knows
blind
what the
man
future
listen to
is.
God? How does a blind man see? How does a deaf man hear God?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I was forgetting.
When was that created?
A blind man can hear. You know, one of the greatest
What about someone who's
scholars
blind and deaf?
in modern. Let me answer your question. One of the greatest scholars in modern times is called Ibn Baz, right? Abdul Aziz Ibn Baz, and he couldn't see, but he accumulated all his knowledge through learning, listening. What about what? What else do you want to give? Through listening, through learning.
Yeah.
If you cannot, then my answer is if you cannot see, hear, or access the truth, then that is why in Islam we have something called a different test on the day of judgment. You're not responsible right now. You're not responsible in this life. You're not held accountable now. You're only held accountable if you can access the truth. That's what you're missing. So stop telling me I'm going back to the past because you're missing the
You're not
point, Arab.
responsible in this
I'm not
life.
going back to the past. I'm not going back to the past. I'm
You're not
going to the
responsible in this
revelation of
life.
God. Sorry?
You're not responsible in this life.
I said if you don't cannot hear, see, or access the message in any way, then you're not responsible in this life. Yes. When
So,
you die, you'll have a different test on the day of judgment.
in this life, and then what's after that?
The afterlife.
What's the afterlife?
The afterlife is after you're resurrected. Then we have something called heaven, and then we have something called hellfire, and then
Okay.
you're eternally either in that place or that or this
So
place.
I
But
totally
from the
agree
moment
with
you
you.
die, yeah,
I totally
go
agree
ahead.
with you. I just believe, and I know that it resonates with the viewers in chat that are listening, is that the
You keep
resurrection.
saying that, but that's kind of a tactic of trying to get them to agree with you. But I mean, there's a lot of Christians in the chat, and you keep telling them, you're going back to 2000 BC. By the
I'll
way,
do
there's
the
no difference.
resurrection point.
Sure.
Let me finish. I believe that the resurrection is right now, as soon as you choose to stop being so aware outside and you breathe and you look inward. And you're welcome. You know, you're welcome to throw whatever names. I don't care. I came onto this for a reason, right? I'm not saying you
What
specifically.
names do you mean?
Anyone watching.
Oh,
Whatever.
oh,
What did you call him?
sure. I haven't said any names.
He said he believes the afterlife is once you go into a resurrection after you die. I'm telling him that the resurrection is when he chooses now in the moment to actually look inwards. That's what I'm saying the resurrection is. The same resurrection that you speak about, the same resurrections that the Christians speak about, the same different forms of resurrection that they speak about in Southeast Asian religions, in the Amazon, in whatever. There's not
Well,
really a point to have.
you're
All I'm
missing the
saying
point.
is belief. All I'm
You're
saying
missing
is
the point.
next time you manifest something and you pray, instead of looking outward in the sky, focus on your breath. And you'll see that it will all come
Dude,
to
what the fuck is this guy smoking,
Okay.
man?
Listen, yeah. Look, in Islam, this worldly life is a world of testing, and the afterlife is a world of reward. So it's not about the resurrection. The resurrection is now where you move into the next stage. You've been in an exam and a test. You have a piece of paper, you solve. Then you move into the stage of either you succeeded or you failed. The afterlife is the conclusion. This life is the test of what will happen to you. So you're focusing on the resurrection. You cannot have the resurrection without focusing on what you're doing right now in the moment in Islam. What you do right now, what you think right now, what every action you do right now is what matters because it is what is going to determine what's going to happen in the afterlife. So look,
I
you
agree
give me
with
a
you.
thumbs up, but this is just the Islamic worldview. But
I
again,
agree.
you've not allowed me to do
No,
something.
I
Arab,
didn't
so
come here
allow
to
me
tell
to
you
do it.
that your worldview is wrong. I told you the only part of your
Yeah.
worldview that's wrong is that you think you're the only one that's right.
I never said I'm the only one. There's 2 billion Muslims in the world, man. They're
Oh,
like
I mean, as
quarter
in
of the
your
population of the
ideology.
planet. Oh, you mean I'm the
I
only
mean,
one who's right, bro? What are you
as
talking
in your
about?
ideology, you believe it's the only right ideology, and that's where you're wrong.
But you say
I'm not telling you
okay.
you're wrong. I'm telling you Your idea that everyone else is wrong is wrong. And because of that, you choose not to see
And
the
how do
full
you know
truth.
it's wrong?
You only
Through
choose
the breathing
part of the
exercises,
truth.
right?
I know it's
But
wrong
you're
because
telling me I'm wrong. But you're telling me I'm wrong. You're doing
sure.
the same thing. But you just did it through breathing exercises. I do it through the revelation of God.
Yeah, you're welcome to think whatever you want, brother. I mean, I don't like. I think we've had the discussion. We need
No,
to have.
you are telling me I'm wrong. You're telling me I'm wrong, thinking that Islam is right
I'm
and
not.
everyone
I'm
else
not
is wrong.
doing the same thing.
You are telling me I'm wrong.
I'm telling you that
How is that
many
not
of
the same
them
thing?
are right. Many of them are right in their way of describing it. That it's not just you that's right. I didn't come.
Listen, in Islam, you need to understand in Islam, we don't say that every single word in every other scripture is false. We say there's truth in other scriptures, but it's not the absolute, full, complete truth. That's
You
what we
can't get
say.
the
So I
absolute
can read.
truth out of a book because no two people ever read the same book. 1,000 people in this
I
world.
responded. I responded to that already. I
How
told
many
you.
books are there in
It's
total?
not about. It's not about how the person reads the book. I told you it's not about how the person reads the book, Arab. I told you it's about. We already have an example of how to understand the book. So regardless of how you read it, you already have a way of how to implement it. Like someone, like imagine someone creates a machine or something, and then he sends you something. "Hey, this is how you operate it." You're not going to tell me two people randomly will operate it differently. It's already been shown how to operate it.
I'm
If
telling you
you
that.
now don't operate it in the right way, then this is your mistake of not
I'm telling
operating it
you
in the right way.
that with reliance on the greater, all-knowing, all-powerful truth,
Mhm.
that your personal experience in the outer world is what matters. As in, you might see an extra slice of pizza that you have as trash, and somebody that's homeless might see it as you're going to throw it away, and instead you give it to them, might see it as something that just saved their life. And so it's all based off of perception. And when you choose to perceive the beliefs that I'm talking to you about, you can be rewarded for them. But it's all based
Can you
off
be
of,
wrong in your perception?
can you what?
Can you be wrong in your perception?
You can be wrong in your perception. That's why you rely on
Okay.
God. There's
Okay.
many times.
Arab, I'm here to tell you you are wrong in your perception. And on that note,
Oh,
we already been an hour. So let me just do the thing that I didn't get the chance to do. But allow me to finish the exercise because I want to do this mental exercise, which I think is good. I think also Sneaker can jump in and tell me what he thinks as well. And if there anyone else can
I had this
want to say their
conversation
opinion, they can.
off stream. We had the same discussion.
Oh, really? Okay. So we're just gonna do it very briefly. I said 1,400 years ago. I want just the people to take themselves and put themselves in a time machine and go back. Let's accept history for the sake of argument because Arab doesn't accept it. But let's, for the sake of argument, accept that our account of history is true. That okay, we didn't have telephones, microscopes. We didn't have airplanes. We had nothing. And put yourself in that time. Now we have a man 1,400 years ago. That man claimed to have an encounter with an angel. This was the first encounter, then multiple other encounters. And people saw that man performing miraculous acts. But I'm not going to tell you that he was a prophet because people saw him do it, because you can't. But what he did is he brought a revelation that he said, this is a revelation coming from the Creator, coming from God. That revelation did a few things. I'm just going to go through them very quickly. That revelation, the Quran and Hadith, had multiple prophecies of the future. None of them are false. Many prophecies of the future. They're exactly detailed. Some of them are time bound, some of them are individual bound. They exactly happened the way the prophet said them. In his life, right after his death, hundreds of years after, and even today, they're happening 1,400 years later. None of them are false, and we can establish that they were before the events taking place. That man produced a scripture, the Quran, which has information about this natural world, cosmology, biology, hydrology, everything you can think about. Things that we today are discovering to be true. We're catching up with the knowledge in the Quran through the technology that I'm referring to right now, through that knowledge in the Quran that existed 1,400 years ago from that man. That man had information about history that nobody could have access. They're not existent in previous scriptures. You couldn't access them because, for instance, the language was dead, like hieroglyphics. We only 200 years ago we found the Rosetta Stone. Then we were able to read hieroglyphics and understand what those Egyptians used to believe. But it wasn't there at that time. Telling you information about ancient Mesopotamia that was in temples that was buried under the sand. Sumerian language was dead. But the Quran tells you this information. And today we discover the temples, we discover artifacts. And these things confirm the knowledge in the Quran 1,400 years ago. The Quran produces a scripture that cannot be imitated in the Arabic language. And you're an Arab, so you know what I'm talking about. The Quran is the highest literary form in the Arabic language, cannot be imitated, has its own genre. And the Quran makes a challenge to just bring one chapter like it, which is one line. Nobody was able to do this until today. 1,400 years, and we can see the criteria, and nobody's able to follow this criteria. And that man lived the most righteous life through teaching people morality about God and everything in this life. How to eat, how to drink, how to sleep, things that we see today that it cannot come from this human being 1,400 years ago. Now, when we look at everything together and we combine these things, then the question always remains. It's a very simple question. Could it be possible that he was able to do all of this and at the same time he wasn't a true messenger of God? And you only have one of two answers, either yes or no. And that is why we say Islam is the truth. Now, this argument I made, the last sentence I'm going to make, yeah, of course.
We couldn't have done all that without being the true messenger of God, guiding you. You'll see them outwardly. You look inwardly and you'll see them outwardly. That's how it works. I'm telling you, all you have to do is breathe. I agree with you completely. Your account of the Islamic scripture is completely correct, but your issue is that you still believe it's the singular truth because it's true. But it being true does not define it as the singular truth. There can still be many other ways to define it.
Okay,
but
so I'll take that as
it only comes in Arabic.
no. I'll take that as it doesn't come only in Arabic, and the proof is that 80% plus of Muslims are non-Arabs. Anyone can understand the guidance of God through a translation of the book. But I'm gonna say this as my closing statement. I'll take this as your closing statement, and I'll say this as the closing statement because we've already been past an hour talking. So this is what I'm gonna say, Arab. You have said that, okay, this is the truth because these things cannot come except if this person is the messenger of God. So we both agree on this. Now, here's where you go wrong, which is just, like I said, common sense. And common sense is common within people. That's why I always appeal to common sense. You say, yes, Prophet Muhammad is the true messenger of God.
Where's common
That
sense?
same Prophet Muhammad, I'm coming to it right now. I'm going to say it. So, the Prophet Muhammad was a true messenger of God. What you're missing is that you're saying he was a true messenger of God, but when he said he was the last messenger, he wasn't the last messenger. And this is where all what you said just falls apart. It's either he was a true messenger of God, and when God himself literally verbatim told us that he was the last and final messenger, and this is the last and final message, either that was the truth, like you said it is, or it is false. But what you've done is you accepted a contradiction, Arab. You said, and you cannot say anything, Arab. Sorry, that's the closing statement. So you said, I accept that that's the truth, and at the same time, you say, I accept it's the truth, but at the same time, what it says is not right. So that's a contradiction, Arab. I'm sorry to say. It's a contradiction.
Lantern, that the flame of your lantern is
I remember to breathe,
inside the lantern.
not to think, and to follow blind faith.
It's in your name.
Breathe, not think, and follow blind faith. Do you agree that that's the conclusion? Breathe, don't think, and follow blind faith.
Yes.
That's your methodology.
Yes.
Okay, my methodology, revelation coming from the God all-knowing, all-seeing, with evidence that cannot be argued against, his messenger and his prophet came from him, and this is the guidance for this life, which is a test, and the afterlife will be the accountability for how we live this life. This is my conclusion, and people can compare the two.
Just remember, as long as you choose to deny it, it will still stand true that the flame of the lantern is inside the lantern. It's
sure, but the one who puts it inside is God through his revelation and guidance.
I agree with you, and it'll follow you forever, but you must choose to listen to God.
All right, Arab. It's a pleasure talking to you. All right, Nico. We'll talk another time. All right, bye-bye. See you. No worries, man. Assalamu alaikum. See you.
We kind of know about what's going on with him.
And how old did he say he was?
Okay.
Okay. When was the last time we've been on Zangi or Telegram?
I haven't been on Zangi at all.
We do have Zangi. Is this your right here?
Yes.
Why is he not too young for the pictures?
Some people grow up differently, some are more mature than others.
So why don't we brush our teeth?
It's coming up on 9 years for my mom being gone.
So with your parents? Episode of EDP Watch, and today we're joined by Mr. Oma.
What's good?
Fan favorite. You guys been wait, are you guys beefing? Like, why haven't you guys done a video all over together? We're here right now in Michigan. We're about to go catch his guy. We're catching Mr. Zachary Shoot. And he's trying to shoot something into something that it shouldn't go into. He's talking to our little boy Decoy. And I wish I could like expel my true feelings of this dude. So if you guys want to see that's what phone he has. So, you do the math, but I'm gonna let Oma take it away.
I mean, if you think that's bad enough, just wait till you hear about what else he's doing. This guy, with what he thinks is an iPhone 15, has been what I would say is hard to do, but put it in YouTube terms, somehow this man found a way to secrete mayonnaise out of his cucumber, and he's made it a daily, or if not weekly, task of his. Either way, he makes sure it's sent of his to send these videos and pictures to what he believes is a iPhone 15.
And how long has he been talking to your decoy?
He's been talking to this decoy for about 4 or 5 months now, and in that time, he has not only expressed interest in this iPhone 15, but he's made it a little clear that he really likes that it's a 15 specific model. He must like, I don't know, that's when they changed the charging cables, right?
Oh, yeah.
He might like the new port,
So he wants to put his USB-C into a lightning port.
Yeah, he wants to, you know, it's a new port, so he's got to be the first one to test it out.
I get it. So yeah, this was absolutely disgusting, y'all. Make sure you guys go watch the full uncensored version on edpwatch.com, and make sure you guys subscribe.
What the f is this? Do you want to watch EDP Watch episodes early and completely uncensored? Do you want to listen in on these disturbing one-on-one calls we have with these monsters?
Do you usually like rub your or do you hear it?
And do you want to support our mission to protect those who cannot protect themselves? Then why not join edpwatch.com?
It's showtime!
To edpwatch.com. Warning, the following content may cause extreme disgust, secondhand embarrassment.
We're not trying to take you away from your food or nothing. I see you got some hot dogs.
Bro, man, with those barbecue, man, we gotta come out here, man.
For sure.
How you doing, Zach? My name's DeMarcus. Nice to meet you, man.
How you doing, man? I'm Jadon.
We just want to talk about some chat logs and everything.
We kind of know a little about what's going on with in person, or how did you guys meet? What was that interaction, I guess? We're just trying to figure out. We don't.
He was on Grindr,
Oh, okay.
and he posed as an older dude,
Gotcha.
like 21,
Okay.
Okay.
23, somewhere in
So, but when talking to him, did he reveal his age to you?
there. Yeah.
And how old did he say he was?
Okay.
Okay.
So
Hey,
15
man,
or
we
16.
appreciate you being honest, man. Genuinely, bro. Because, you know, I'm a high school
Okay,
dropout. I'm
that
not
helps.
trying to read through all these things and stuff. Because, I mean, his uncle was in a fury. But luckily, his aunt, she's a more calm, more cool, calculated person. And she doesn't believe in incarceration and stuff. Because, bro, that doesn't help anybody. You know what I mean?
That's why I have a Tesla there. I actually have a DUI, so I don't really cops either. So I have it drive me. I couldn't even get here myself.
So, man, kind of, can you tell us about, like, how this stuff kind of got carried away? Kind of, like, what was going on when you guys were talking?
Like you said, it got out of hand. Like, we just got to talking. Just me being lonely, and I don't really talk to anybody.
Does your brother know about your sexuality?
Yeah.
Oh, he does? Okay, so is he supportive with it?
Yeah.
Okay, but obviously
Good
he
brother.
wouldn't be.
Good guy.
Obviously, he wouldn't be supportive with the other stuff. You know what I mean? So obviously, we're gonna keep that between us. But
So-
that's
so-
good to hear you got that support system at home, man.
Once you learn, I guess, about the age, what kind of led the conversation to continue on? Once I know you said he thought he was.
Was
like
it more
21.
him? Was he more
Mic
being
check.
risque, or was
Mic
it you?
check,
Like,
mic
kinda how did
check.
it get to that point? So,
It was him.
so
and
what was
I
he
just
saying,
kinda
though?
followed along, and I shouldn't have, and I realized that. And
And we know how kids can be in terms of like persistence.
He's no saint in this picture either, man. But I guess kind of what was the things that he was saying to kind of like egg on the conversation?
asking, what I look like and whatnot, and the snaps, and yeah, I don't know, I sent him some, and I know I sent some without him asking, but
So what kind of Snapchats did you send him?
it was mainly pics.
Okay.
Okay.
So those were all pics? Okay, man. So like, I guess, why did we send those? Like, what was the mind? What was the mindset behind those?
Because he was interested.
Oh, okay. So did he tell you that this was like his first time kind of doing something like this?
He said he talked to other dudes.
Okay.
But I was the only one that actually, kept talking to him.
Okay.
And I was just, trying to be friendly, keep talking to him, but I definitely shouldn't have been sending.
What's up, Muslim man?
Bro, I couldn't do with the Arab. He was fucking retarded.
That has to stop. Why don't you apply those resources against the left? Why don't you apply those resources against those that hate whites, those that hate Christians, those that hate America? So I like the statement that Heritage gave. I like the statements that people are making. But what needs to happen is that the institutions of the conservative movement must come to reflect the priorities of the people they represent. This battle is not over until every Republican staffer, every Republican representative, every White House official, every right-wing think tank is filled with personnel that are carrying out this agenda, which is America first, Christ is king, free speech, stopping mass migration might need to be said explicitly.
But our politicians, our diplomats, our congressmen and women are controlled by the Israel lobby, by the Zionist lobby, by Zionist oligarchs, wealthy, affluent Jews, other Zionist lobbyists on both sides, right? I mean, Democrats and Republicans, they disagree on essentially everything in the year 2025. I mean, for example, healthcare, border security, defense spending, corporate tax cuts, education, abortion, transgenderism, DEI, affirmative action, you can go on. But they all agree on unconditional, unshakable, immovable right to free of
Still working in the state, fired from the White House. Why is Gavin Wax still working in the State Department? Conservatives are getting killed by the left. And you've got somebody in the State Department that is betraying his fellow Republicans to them, he needs to be fired. And Heritage Foundation, you need to roll up the Esther Project. You're talking about a public-private partnership to abuse anti-terrorism, immigration, and RICO statutes to censor free speech. You need to roll that up. That's got to go. No more Project Esther. These types of policies have to be eradicated in the GOP. These are not consistent with America first, Christ is king, or free speech. And we cannot meaningfully be bullied by this 2% that seems to only care about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the neoconservatives, now this it is from war, ISIS, blitzkrieg, nuclear barrels, your war, Republic, the strategic lie, about their
Right now, you can have the Israel first money, or you can have the America first votes, but you can't have them both. Fortunately for you, it's votes that win elections, so it shouldn't be a difficult decision. But that's the next stage here. J.D. Vance was at Turning Point USA last night, and the Groypers were there in full force, and they said, how is it America first to support Israel? Why are you going against Thomas Massey? Why did you marry a Hindu? What is going on with Palantir? And Vance had to walk a very fine line, pandering to the Groypers, but not alienating the Israel first money. And nobody was really happy.
Yeah, that duplicity is often at the very
declined to forcefully condemn anti-Semitism. The Israel money was not happy either. And as time goes on, the Israel first money is going to demand that J.D. Vance swear allegiance to them and condemn the Groypers and condemn anti-Semitism. And I'm telling you this right now, and you need to be with me on this. You need to raise your right hand right now. If J.D. Vance condemns the Groypers, if J.D. Vance signals to the Israel First lobby that he is condemning the America First movement,
yes,
then we will not vote for him. We
That's
will
right.
not support him.
That's right.
And as a matter of fact, we will show up in Iowa,
That's
and then
right.
New Hampshire, and then Nevada and South Carolina to make sure that he never gets the nomination. That's the only way we can play this. Because the Israel First lobby and the $7,000 club, they are going to be on his ass. And they're going to be all over him, telling him, if you don't disavow them, if you don't tell us that you stand with us, we will not give you money. We will attack you. They're going to come for him hard. And there's going to be such a strong incentive for him to condemn America first. And he might say, I condemn anti-Semitism, I condemn the Groypers, and he might have some reason for that. But
Yo, Sneeko and Muslim
we need to jump in on
gives you the knowledge that you need and the guidance that you need. If God, like you said, sends you another book right now, it will say the same thing the Quran says. There's no need to send another message saying the same exact thing if that thing is preserved. There is a need for a messenger when you don't have a message. There is a need for a messenger when a message has been corrupted. These are two.
Why is his mic so bad?
You will
Good,
need
if you want to stay on a little bit,
if we already have everything
this
here
isn't a segment. I'm
in
just
the Quran being preserved, then if you're saying God sends another book,
Thank you everyone for watching.
What we
It's a little
need,
flat
the
today.
guidance is already here.
Let's check this out.
Is she okay? Do you see where she's hit at?
No, it's on the side of her head. They're saying she's pregnant too. Take a deep breath.
This woman was just informed that her daughter, Tiara Harris, was shot in a gang-related incident and is in critical condition.
Damn. They just were shooting, and the blood just started
It's Houston.
from her head, like shooting them under the ambulance. Like I can't even talk right now, bro.
Her boyfriend
God
rushed
damn
her
it.
to the hospital.
God
but
damn it.
Sadly, it was already too late. And the worst part, Tiara had nothing to do with the shootout. She was an innocent bystander. A simple mix-up left an innocent, pregnant mother of two dead, her children now motherless, and her family absolutely heartbroken. The police now face a grueling investigation. However, with everyone involved supposedly being gang members, catching the killers would prove to be much harder than anything they'd done before. We've been in touch with Yolanda, the mother featured in this video, and are proud to share that half of the video's profits will be donated to the Akron-based charity
That's
First
kinda
Glance
cool.
Student Center. At 7:29 p.m. on April
pretty cool.
14th, Akron Police Department would receive multiple calls reporting dozens of gunshots being fired out of 1492 Rockaway Street. Witnesses would describe what seemed like a gang-related shooting with multiple cars speeding away from the scene, one being a silver four-door Chevy. Police managed to quickly track down the Chevy, following it as the driver sped across back roads in Akron. However, the Chevy wasn't actually running from the cops. It instead would pull over somewhere that concerned the cops even more. The hospital.
Damn.
There's someone in the car still. Hey, hold up. 5807. 5807.
Go ahead and shut the car off. Shut the car off. Shut the car off here. Go ahead and put your hands on top of your head, all right? Nope. Hands on top of your head. Step out. Step out.
Hello, do we have someone checking High Street?
All right, man. Here, step back here to the back of the car. Go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
With the incident being reported as a gang-related shootout, police would assume the man driving the Chevy to be a gang member, meaning he would be very unlikely to talk to them. So instead, they decide to stuff him in the back of a patrol car for later interrogation. As this was going on, dozens of additional 911 calls would ring in, witnesses would arrive at the Akron Police Department to give their testimonies, and more cars would arrive at the hospital. Most importantly though, 4 miles away, a young woman would be placed in an ambulance under critical condition, with a bullet wound to her head. Turns out all of this would be connected to a large group of reckless shooters. It's at this point that we need to step in. This is one of the most complex and mysterious cases we've ever covered, so we need to break down some details first.
How do you think this is gonna be complex? I mean, I'm intrigued. Okay,
for you to fully understand the case itself and how well the police handled every single step of solving it. At 7:22 p.m., a car arrived at 1492 Rockaway Street carrying a number of people who started hanging out with some friends on the side of the road. This group included Javier Small, Lanier Worthy, and Jonte Smith. Everything seemed fine until 7:29 p.m., a black vehicle reversed into the street carrying Tiara Harris and her boyfriend George. Her boyfriend recognized some of the people on the sidewalk and wanted to back up and say hi to them. At that very moment, on the other end of the street, 3 men emerged from an unrelated vehicle and started firing bullets.
damn. These guys are dumbasses, man.
These men were Zaire Saunders, 17-year-old Antonio Whitaker.
I mean, how are you gonna go?
The street, 3 men emerged from an unrelated vehicle and started
I
firing
mean, I know you got the
bullets.
jump on him, but like, okay, this guy might be okay, this guy not so much, and then this guy not so much.
These men were Zaire Saunders, 17-year-old Antonio Whitaker, and Darion Rackley, all affiliated with the gang.
17-year-old. Like a kid, man. What the fuck? Remember you at 17?
A notoriously violent gang active in Akron at the time. There was also the driver of the car, Jeremiah Williams. Their shots scattered the group on the sidewalk, with everyone running for cover. In the panic, Jonte and Javier drew their guns and began to shoot back. Bullets went back and forth, and everyone went into a panic as they realized their lives were at risk and a bullet could strike them at any moment. Seconds later, the dust settled, and the BBM members Zaire, Antonil, and Darion fled the scene. However, a grueling silence would ring throughout the street as Tiara's boyfriend, George, realized Tiara was the sole victim of the shooting. With BBM splitting up and running in different directions, George flooring it to the hospital, and everyone on the sidewalk either heading inside or preparing to head to the hospital too, cops would begin the grueling task of figuring out what just happened, and who, ultimately, was the one that fired the killing shot. Now that you understand exactly what happened, we can join the police as they try to figure out what just went down and how to solve the developing mystery. Remember that all the cops have received at this point is a phone call alerting them to the shooting, and a description of the silver Chevy they've just pulled a gang member from.
There's another victim that's at we don't know where that victim's going to go. There's a possibility that victim may be deceased. Yeah, they got shot. Okay. Someone's got to go check, probably.
Two of the officers ran over to the front of the hospital and discovered Javier Small and his girlfriend in complete distress.
It's like another victim?
He can't go with you in that room because she's got to go to get checked out. Hang tight.
As it turns out, another girl was also hit in the shooting, that being this man's girlfriend. Luckily, she was only shot in the leg, but he was still extremely distraught and horrified about the whole incident.
Bro, I'm on house arrest. I gotta go. I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta go to the house with my girl, bro.
I mean, just that whole neighborhood just needs to be under constant surveillance, it seems. God damn, even the victims are criminals.
Despite how distraught this guy is, he was a passenger in the Chevy, which they just found multiple firearms inside of. So police promptly arrested him.
Hey, Palpy, we'll take him over here.
What the fuck?
Across town, however, there's someone in a much worse position. Tiara Harris, the passenger in the black car.
Can I open that up? I'm trying to. Alright, they're saying she's pregnant too, Mom. Okay. How pregnant is she? How far along? 2 weeks pregnant. Okay. 2 weeks. Maybe 2? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't know somebody can be 2 weeks pregnant. Like, could you... Has there ever been a case where... I guess if you do blood tests and shit, but like, can you be 2 weeks pregnant? Like, do you know by then?
Not right now. I'm sorry, man.
Bro, Yanni just got shot. I mean, T just got shot. Bro, just in the car, just driving down the street in Kenworth, driving from over there, and they just was shooting. None of the glass broke, but she wasn't like moving or talking. So I just brought her, and the blood just started dripping from her head. Like, bro, we see in the hospital. She's in the ambulance. Like, I can't even talk right now, bro.
Tiara was immediately rushed to the local hospital, and her boyfriend George was brought in for questioning. He wasn't a lead suspect, but police did find it odd that he just happened to arrive at the site of a violent shooting right as it all went down. He would claim to be innocent and actually provide a detailed description of everything that went down that night.
I mean, I thought the car backing up was kind of weird. But now that they put 2 and 2 together with the timing, this is interesting.
You turned off here, so
no, I didn't. I came this way, and I said, "What y'all got? Like, what y'all got going on over here?" Like, I'm like basically saying, "Y'all good?"
Right.
As soon as I said that, somebody from down here got to just shooting a gun that just kept shooting. That's all I know. But I didn't hear nobody or nothing like that.
So you're right there, and then you heard that. How many shots did you hear?
Man, I can't even recall. It was a lot. And then as soon as I
so you were facing this way?
No.
You literally backed all the way on.
Say I'm coming down here in this Rockaway. Like, this would be Rockaway.
Okay.
Down, I backed up.
Oh, so you backed, so the back of your car was facing that way?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm like, what y'all got going on? Like, I look out just like that.
Like out the window?
Like, as soon as I even, like, it should have been me, like, you feel me? Because I'm the one that looked straight out the window, like, y'all all right? Y'all good type stuff.
The cops asked him why he was even there in the first place, to which he just said he knew a couple of people on the street and that he had absolutely no involvement in the shooting. He's claiming that when he peeked out the window, his friends mistook him for the shooter and began to fire bullet after bullet directly at his vehicle. According to him, it wasn't an accident, but a misunderstanding, making the whole situation even more tragic. With George's statement, they were a little clearer on the whole situation. But they'd made no progress into actually solving the case or tracking down the real perpetrators. That was until they returned to the scene and spoke to a number of witnesses who had watched the entire event take place.
It was 2 African Americans. Where were they running? Young kids. They come from back there across this backyard next door and out the driveway.
They hopped the fence?
He had a face mask on and had a 9mm. And then the other one had a semi-automatic rifle, and they were almost to the corner of the house running this way, and they both jumped the fence. Like when the kid in the hoodie jumped maroon hoodie jumped the fence, he dropped the semi-automatic rifle at the driveway.
I was just out back cutting some stuff, and all I heard was just a barrage of bullets, fully auto. It wasn't 3-round burst, 4-round. It was fully auto.
Damn.
Oh yeah, hot and loud and fast. And then I saw 2 guys. When I was out back, I could see through the backyards, through the fence. I saw a silhouette of 2 guys running up towards that street, returning single shots as they were running away.
There's casings up here. Yeah.
I got more.
Okay. How many did you hear, you think?
It was like 30.
Like where all these cones are at, probably that amount?
30 or 40.
Like this happened over there all the time.
Where's over there?
Right there, the house right there.
I heard a lot of gunfire, but when I went out, when I first heard it, I thought it was a backfire because I saw this car sitting over here where all the cones are. And he had his lights on. So I thought he was working on a car and it backfired real bad. Then I saw them loading people into cars to take them to the hospital, and I knew it wasn't, because this has happened so many times before. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Right.
We can't go outside, nothing.
Even with all this new information, though, the cops are only slightly closer to figuring out what happened. They were now at least able to confirm that one group of shooters rolled up and started the exchange before another responded, causing a huge exchange of bullets throughout the neighborhood. But they still had two major questions. Who were the shooters, and how was Tiara involved? Well, the cops had just spotted another witness that might be able to answer their questions. A woman who was actually on the street the moment the bullets started flying.
So you don't live here?
I'm not even from here.
Oh.
I was visiting.
So who owns the house?
Anitra Johnson.
Anitra? She is? Okay.
She was out to eat when I called her.
Okay. Everyone's okay though, right? The kids?
The kids, yes.
Yeah?
The kids
Okay.
are okay. I got them in the back watching TV.
Okay.
There was another girl outside. I think she got shot in the thigh or the leg. I think they took her probably to the hospital.
Okay.
She definitely got hit.
Okay. So what did you see?
I'm sitting outside. To be honest, we all family. So we're all outside prayer wrestling, like act like we hitting each other and stuff. Next thing I know, I just heard these gunshots. I'm like, all right, was that a BB gun? Come through shooting.
Yeah.
And it was like pow, 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 and came through again. So I'm running up, I didn't even know where the gunshots was coming from. I'm running up, trying to grab the kids. They came through twice.
Okay. Did the house get hit at all?
I mean, I don't even fuck. Is that a bulldog right here? I don't know. I was really just trying to grab the kids.
And you said it, so what? They got out of a car?
They didn't even get out of the car.
Or they just started, they were hanging out
They was
shooting?
hanging out shooting.
Okay. Did you see how many by chance?
Three.
Three of them? Okay.
Now it's starting to sound a lot more like a drive-by shooting, notoriously one of the hardest types of crimes to solve, especially if the vehicle was stolen. The cops are starting to lose confidence that they'll ever find Tiara's killer, but then they decide to ask one simple question.
Ma'am, do those cameras work?
I believe so.
Okay.
She on her way home.
Oh, she is? Okay, perfect.
There were CCTV cameras on the property, and as soon as the homeowner got back, they'd have access to the footage. So in just a few hours, the cops were able to put together just enough footage to understand exactly what happened. Remember, we already know all of this, but for the police, this was huge. Now they had a detailed timeline of the entire incident, including at what time it went down, how many people were involved, and which vehicles the suspects used. This would be very useful in the coming interrogations in terms of verifying their suspects' claims and pressuring them to confess. Police finally had a solid piece of evidence, and right as their case had started to build some substance, their biggest lead yet would step out right in front of them.
I have video of them carrying the girl that got shot into that tunnel.
And that's not the same one that was at She'll send her a link and then she can just upload it from there.
Right after they took off.
Not only had they seen the entire thing go down, but as soon as they heard gunshots, they started recording. They managed to get this clear footage of a man getting into the same vehicle spotted at the shooting just minutes earlier. Now all they needed to do was track down the car using the visible license plate, and they'd have their first lead suspect. But with that said, these kids were no strangers to running from the police, and the officers would begin the hunt to find these evil teens. While all of this was going on, police had another, perhaps more nerve-wracking situation to handle. Tiara had passed away, and her family had no idea.
There's currently not like too many people in the hospital. Let's step over here, see where all these cruises are.
My car, okay?
Where's your car at?
I'm right here because I
This one
didn't know.
or this one?
Right here.
Sorry, which one? Okay. What's your daughter's name? You're here for your daughter?
Tiara Harris.
Kiara Harris. We'll say, have me stand right here next to this sign. We'll have someone go over to talk to you, okay? Take a deep breath.
Is she okay?
I don't know the names of who they are currently, miss.
Just listen to the cop's tone here. He knows just how bad things are looking for Tiara, and he absolutely doesn't want to break that news to her mother yet, especially when he sees just how emotional she's starting to get. Tiara's autopsy showed a single bullet struck her in the head, and remains there.
Damn.
While tragic, this information would allow police to identify the exact bullet type and then gun used to shoot Tiara. If they could find the owner of this gun, they would be able to match it to the bullet, and justice could be served for Tiara and her family.
Hey, come here!
They got a bunch of people showing
That's
up.
my son and my nephew.
Okay, well, listen, they can't go in. It's going to be you.
Y'all go in the car. Go in the car.
They telling us to wait outside.
I know. I'm going in. Go in my car.
The entire family is in distress, with her mom shaking and doing everything she can to stay strong in front of her kids. It's truly a nightmare situation, and it only got worse from there. At around 8:30 p.m., they were informed that Tiara didn't make it. A bullet to the back of the head had ended her life, sending her family into complete grief and agony. Now,
That's the back of the
police
head.
knew
That
they
shit just went
absolutely
right through.
had to catch the people that did this to Tiara, or risk letting down her and her entire family. At this point, police had 6 different suspects on the run, all tied to the shooting, and they would eventually manage to track down and get interrogations with all of them. Their start came in the form of a Facebook post by someone named Jeremiah Williams, described as a member of the BBM gang.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way a Facebook post. No way.
Apparently, the post consisted of him bragging about being at the shooting and escaping without getting caught. By using his Facebook profile,
I mean, what the fuck? How stupid, like fuck that guy, number one, but how stupid can you be?
they'd find his address and pick him up for interrogation. With Jeremiah also being a supposed gang member, he too would prove to be extremely difficult to break. However, by using expert methods, police would actually get him to break completely, to the point where he actually started to cry.
You want some tissue? Yeah, that's true. How's it going, Jeremiah? Pretty good. Sorry for the wait, man. I'm Detective Smith. This is Detective Davis. Nice to meet you. Alright, and so the reason why we have you sitting here talking to us is we need you to think back to April. There's an incident that happened on Rockaway. Remember this? This young lady got shot. Remember hearing about that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so during our investigation, your name's been coming up. But do you know about where you were that day, if you can? Or
I was definitely at home.
Apparently, Jeremiah also has an alibi, and even gives multiple names over that'll attest he wasn't on Rockaway that night.
You're at home. Yeah. Where was that, at Amherst?
Amherst. This was right before my mom moved to Louisiana. My best friend, Rob, talked to her sister, the girl that died, her sister, Dayani, or Diane, or however you say her name. My best friend, Rob, was like in a kind of little...
Like dating?
Yeah, with her sister.
Okay.
And it was crazy. We got on Facebook, and it was all over Facebook. Her sister had got killed and stuff. And my mom was like, ain't that the girl that came over here the other day? And we like, no, that was her little sister.
Has her little sister reached out to you guys or anything?
We haven't talked to her, and I mean, I don't talk to her at all for real, but...
So you were at your house on Amherst?
Yeah.
Was there anyone with you that day?
My mom.
What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is April.
However, the detectives know this to be untrue. They know he was at the scene from the Facebook post he made. They know he didn't, so they want to get a confession, or even better, some information that might help put more people in handcuffs. The thing is, they're initially going to find that a lot harder than they'd hope.
I have to ask, do you recognize this car?
Dude, this was the car that was in that video. That's on Facebook.
So you remember it? Yeah. Have you ever been in this car?
No.
Do you know who drives this car or owns this car?
I don't know him by like name, but I know who he is. His name like Pa or something.
Pa?
That's what they call him.
Do you know? Can you describe him?
That's funny because I don't even really know what he looks like. Like
I mean,
every time I've seen him with a ski mask on.
Okay.
Like I've never seen him outside of a ski mask.
Okay. All right. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your past. Like, have you ever been in trouble or anything?
Actually, right now, I got probation.
So, like, just a weapons possession charge is all you got?
It's like carrying a concealed firearm in a motor vehicle.
Gotcha, yeah.
Jeremiah is making a conscious attempt to give as little information over as possible while still trying to seem cooperative. He's smart. He doesn't want to completely close himself off, as that'll make him seem guilty, but he also doesn't want to give up any vital information. The cops ask him who was there, where he was sitting in the car, even questions about the guns, but he refuses to speak, and he's starting to seriously frustrate the cops. But all this talk of courts and investigations doesn't seem to be getting them anywhere at all, so instead, they switch gears. They're going to be as direct as possible and give it to him straight. That's their last hope at getting him to crack.
What do your friends call you? Do you have a nickname or anything?
Jay.
We're just getting to know you, man.
Right.
Obviously, we can see that you're not a bad person. Just the vibes I'm getting.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're in here talking to us for a reason. And it comes back down to this incident. You being honest with us is what we'll be able to work with you. We know that you were there. And we also got your DNA in this car.
If I'd been in that car, I would tell you guys I've been in that car. I don't have no reason to lie or no reason to put myself in any trouble.
Your role in it is the driver, because we know you're the driver. Really what we're looking for is why. You're already being charged with the incident. You explaining your actions and what really went down is it's just going to help with your role in this. And we know you didn't pull the trigger, but you not being honest with what went down is not going to help you. It's going to, the prosecutor and the judge and jury are going to look at someone who's not remorseful.
Drove over there and they started shooting.
So they told you to drive over to Rockaway?
Yeah.
Who was sitting where in the car?
In the front, and Zebo sitting behind me, and then Pa sitting on the door.
It worked. The cops actually got a name. It was a nickname, but cops could eventually tie this back to a man named Zaire Saunders, who would be interrogated later. This was huge. They'd actually gotten a gangster to tell on one of his partners. But they weren't done yet. They knew he still had more information, and they weren't going to stop putting on the pressure now.
We got to go back to who was in the car with you. I know you know Zebo. Pa, you say you just know him by Pa. Do you know his real name? Okay. And the third person, you're saying how often have you seen him? Would you be able to identify that last person by a picture?
Jeremiah physically looks defeated. He's avoiding eye contact and is hunched over. He likely never saw himself giving up the names of his partners, but that's exactly where he found himself. The cops, however, are over the moon, even managing to get descriptions of the people he doesn't know the names of. They ask a few more questions before leaving him alone for a minute to prepare their next move. However, on their return, they didn't expect to see Jeremiah, a once tough and unbreakable gang member, to cry because of what he'd done.
Would you say his first name was what?
Darian.
Is this him? Do you want some tissue, man? I need a verbal yes or no if that's him. Alright.
Yeah.
So let me get tissue.
Drooling on his boys.
If this is the first time you've seen a gang member cry, you're certainly not alone. But it actually happened again in the detective's very next interrogation. While these cops were busy talking to Jeremiah, a breakthrough had been made outside of the interrogation room. Remember this footage recorded by a civilian witness earlier? Well, after 5 days of investigation, they actually managed to track the car down, enabling them to take in another suspect, Antonil Whitaker. Police would quickly realize that Antonil might be even more important than Jeremiah as a suspect. He's a supposed member of the BBM gang, and believed to be one of the suspects that initiated the shootout. The thing is, he's just 17 years old. Since there's still some information even Jeremiah couldn't give them, They figured they might be able to scare him into giving up everything he knows. And their first idea is an unconventional but possibly extremely effective method: a call home to mom.
Hello, Ma.
This is really, really serious now. You need to put yourself wherever you was and get to telling them with your part as much as you can, because you can't take the blame for this, and this was not you. You shouldn't be sitting there. They know it's your car. You can't get out of that. You better than this.
Antonil doesn't even seem to feel like following his mother's advice.
W mom.
Despite the fact that they know it was his car, he's claiming that someone else was actually driving it that day. And even more unfortunately, he'd forgotten exactly who. Listen to his story and see if you believe it as much as the detectives do.
So you saying you were at home?
No, like the whole day.
Someone took your car somehow, brought your car back, gave you the keys back or whatever, and then so you could take your sister home. That doesn't make sense, man. You know a jury, you know a judge. They're not. I'll be honest with you. I mean, what you're giving is not even a good statement. It's not even a good lie. That's why it'd probably be easier for you to tell the truth.
You see, about an hour after the shooting, Antonil was confirmed to have used his car to pick his sister up from an event, meaning it was clear that he was still in possession of it. But that didn't faze Antonil, and despite how many questions police asked him, he refused to give up anything.
How this works, you might already know this from TV, but I mean it's kind of accurate. We're going to compare your DNA to the DNA on the shell casings that we collected on scene. Is there any reason your DNA is going to be on there? Because if there is, you've got to explain that. You said no, or I don't know. Who got in the car with you at Aldi's? If you're saying your DNA is not going to be on those shell casings, right? And you're saying you weren't driving, who did you let drive your car? Believe it.
I don't know what's there.
But right now it looks like it's on you.
They're trying to force a confession out of him by telling him that if he'd been in physical contact with any of the evidence tied to the murder, they would find out and he would get sentenced. And they're not lying either. When you touch anything at all, you leave behind skin cells, sweat, small hairs, or even oils that can quickly be traced back to you. Meaning, if Antonil had touched the car, the bullets when loading his gun, or anything else related to the murder, police would find out. However, as of now, detectives haven't had the time to run these tests to confirm if his DNA was present, meaning they couldn't pressure him to a confession, and they'd have to wait until later. So in the meantime, they move their attention to the next suspect. Remember the man Jeremiah gave up to the cops back in his interrogation? That was Zaire Saunders. Once they had his name, they tracked him down and arrested him. And he would prove to be even more helpful than Antonil and Jeremiah combined.
Did you know of or hear about that young lady who got killed?
Yeah.
Did you know her?
No.
We don't think that she was the one meant to be hurt. And I mean, based on what we're seeing. But unfortunately, she did get obviously hurt. Her family's hurt.
Right.
You know, when we did that search warrant, we got your phone.
Yes.
Okay. And we downloaded your phone. And your location is putting you on Rockaway that day. No shit. What happened that day, man?
I shot a pistol. You shot a pistol? Yes.
This seems like a breakthrough. He's just admitted to being a part of the shooting, and it seems that all the detectives' work has just paid off. But they're not quite there yet. Of the 3 shooters, 2 did indeed use pistols, but one of them was actually yielding the extremely dangerous automatic rifle that can be seen clear as day in this footage here. Instead of jumping this fence after the shooting, the man with the rifle fled directly down Rockaway Street, and that's the direction Zaire's phone shows him running. The good news is, that clears Zaire of being the man that killed Tiara. After all, she was killed with a very specific pistol round. But that does put him directly in the spotlight of being the man with the most dangerous weapon, and one that is directly lying to the cops right now. And they're not about to let him get away with that.
We have video of the incident. You're on camera shooting a rifle.
Is it a pistol that holds, 2 rifle rounds?
I mean, it ain't just. It is big.
Does it have a stock on it? Like something kind
Friday then. I'm getting all of this on for him.
That single piece of information resulted in Zaire actually getting the highest sentence out of anybody involved.
خب این موقع دیگه دکمه‌ش هم درست کنه دیگه. ای مادر جنده ای از کجا کسکش از پشت سر ما آمد فاری بگوید. الان میام مادرت نگاه کس نهره بیا بلند کن کسکش بیا. یارا چقدر کیری هم بابا.
Love you.
I need a fucking medic.
66. Who the fuck's got 66 kills? ويل آخر الدنيا.
I'm bleeding out! Medic! I need a medic!
Oh man, this map is fucking shit.
Medic!
يا عمي ما عم بلحق ما عم بلحق. It's fucking chaos, man. Oh man, these fucking Arab. They don't play objectives. دغري. Dude, what the fuck, man?
I need a medic!
The enemy still hold more objectives. We must take action. We need defensive support to the marked objective.
And that's it.